Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys this gel polish kit from Rosalind. These are UV LED soak off gels. This is a 7-free formula and all the information about them are on the back of the box for you guys. Now I'm going to get this open so I can show you each and every one of these colors that's going to come in this. I love this nice little box, and check out these bottles. These are super pretty. I love the black with the gold lettering. It really makes these little bottles pop. So in this kit, they do give you this little card that explains what UV gel is and a Q&A on the back, which is super neat. So check out these bottles. They are so pretty. I cannot wait to get these out of here and show you guys all these colors. So the first one I'm going to pull out of here is C001. That is a white polish. Then we have a C127. There are nudes in this collection. So we have C116, another nude. We have a C126. There's another white polish. Then also you're going to have a C018. And then last but not least, we are going to have C013, which is a black polish. So I'm going to open each one of them and show you guys this color. And check out that black. Love a good pigmented black polish. This next one looks like a peachy nude color. Very pretty. This next one is another white. So this one kind of looks like a milky white to me. Kind of has a little bit of a tint to it. This C116 is another really pretty color. This looks like a one coat coverage color. Definitely with this one. Check it out. That's really pretty. Kind of a pinkish nude. And then we have the 127. This looks like a little bit more of a natural nude color. And then the C001 is a primary white, and check that out. That looks like it's going to be very pigmented. So we're going to see with the application. I've got some full coverage Coffin structured press-ons on my stand, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the thumbnail. And right off the bat, I'm telling you, I'm seeing some really good coverage with this color, and I will recap all the colors after I get done doing this application so you know which one was which. So it's looking like this is going to be a good full coverage nude color. Very creamy, very natural, very pretty. I will probably go ahead and do a second coat in the application of this color, just because I like to do 2 coats application when they're, you know, not heavily pigmented polishes. But, you know, this is definitely one that 1 coat will be sufficient for coverage. But look at how pretty that is. That turned out really well. It leveled very beautifully. It's not streaky or anything. So I'm going to get this one in the lamp and move on to the next color. So the next color we're applying is their black, and it does look very pretty. The coverage on this is really good. This is a 1 coat coverage for most. I would still do a second coat for myself because I really like a deep, rich color, you know. So it does do very well. It self-levels very well, and it does give great coverage. This is a well-pigmented black gel polish. It's not super pigmented, but it is definitely going to suffice with 1 coat. So that's how that turned out. Very, very pretty. And we're going to get this one in the lamp and move on and see the next color in this kit. So next up in the kit, we have this white, and I was excited because this white looks really well pigmented, and it does have some great coverage. Another one that I would still go over and do a second coat, because if I can really see the green from behind it from the tabs that I use for my full coverage press-ons, then I always kind of go in and just do a second coat. Of course, your fingernail beds are not going to be green, so they're not going to shine through, but I kind of use that as reference when I'm doing press-ons to see just how well the coverage really is. Now, you can get away with 1 coat with this white. Definitely can, and it's going to be beautiful. But for me, you know, I do want to go in and add a second coat, but check that out. That's so pretty. You know, the application was so smooth and easy. So the next one we're looking at, this is kind of a sheer, almost peachy kind of nude color. And this is a very pretty nail polish. I would probably do 2 to 3 coats of this if I want to really build up a deep, rich color, because it's not very opaque, which means it's really sheer. If you do not know what that means when you hear somebody saying opaque and opacity when they're talking about gel polishes, it just is in reference to how sheer the actual polish is, and most nudes are pretty sheer. Some are full coverage. So I've got that in the lamp, and I'm going to move on to the last color we have, and this, like the black and the first white, it's definitely a full coverage polish. It's very pigmented. It's very pretty. It reminds me of like a natural makeup skin color. And I really am loving the way this color looks. I'm really liking this a lot. So I would like to get this in a bigger bottle, because this is a color that I would enjoy using pretty often, because it's a very, very pretty nude color. But check that out. So I'm going to get the side of that cleaned up, get it in the lamp. So here are all the colors that I applied to the press-ons. I didn't use the sixth color, but I will show it later. And you can see them in order. And I did do 2 coats on each one. With the C018, I actually did go in with a third coat, but they were really thin second and third coats on that. But look at how beautiful these turned out. So I'm going to get everything set up so I can go ahead and start doing some designs on these nails. And I'm going to start with this thumbnail. And I'm going to use this black and white to do some accents on the nail. I'm going to do a tip on the nail, and I'm going to go in with the white first. Now I did do 2 coats on the white. I only used 1 coat on the black, but I really wanted a rich white color, so I wanted to make sure that, I had that coverage that I wanted. So I did go in and actually end up doing a 2nd coat on that, but I'm just kind of bringing that up slowly and getting that up where I wanted, as high as I wanted on the nail. I would have, if I went back and redid it, I would have made it a little higher. I didn't really, it didn't look that way when I was creating it, but when I got done, I was like, oh, this is really pretty, but I wish I would have brought that tip up just a little bit further on the nail, but it still turned out really super cute the way that I did it. So I went ahead and put that in the lamp, and I came back in with just a little bit more, just to build up that opacity and that white, just get, a really rich white out of that, and just went back over all those lines and just kind of widened it up just a little bit. I did end up going back with a cleaning brush to clean it up just a little bit, get a nice straight line, just a little alcohol, making sure that the brush was pretty dry though, because you don't want the liquid alcohol to run over onto your gel polish. But just went ahead and cleaned it up and put it in the lamp. And while that was in the lamp, I went ahead and moved on to my index finger. So I'm going to go in with the base color that I used for the thumbnail, and I'm just going to start making some lines down the nail. I'm going to make some branches, and then I'm going to come back in and start adding some leaves to that, and then some little pops of color on those. Just very, very subtle. I really want to keep this palette extremely simple. I only want to use the products that I received in this kit. So once I get done drawing these lines, I am going to stick this in the lamp and go ahead and cure this. That way it doesn't end up muddying up my nail or my leaves when I go to put it in there. I don't want to bump into it by accident. So I'm just going to go back over the lines, drawing that gel polish out in the directions I want it to go, so it doesn't kind of pull in any specific spot and end up, really thick and heavy in those spots, because gel polish, is a very thin, and it can kind of continue to level out on you as you're working with it, especially with nail art. So just when you get the lines exactly the way you want them in the lamp. So I'm back to the thumbnail, and then I'm going to go ahead in with the black and do the other side. Now I'm going to make the other side a little bit wider, because I am going to come back with the black on the white side and do an accent line. So I want to just make sure that I have this side already even to where that side is going to be when I get it done. That way I don't have to come back in and add more lines to this side. So I could have went ahead and done the black line on the other side, but I just wanted to see where my line was going to look right at on the, on this side of the nail, so I can know, how thick or thin I want that accent line to be on the opposite side. So I've got that pretty much where I want it, and I'm going to go ahead and just touch this up a little bit and go ahead and get ready to add the accent line to the other side of the nail. That way I can get this in the lamp and get this cured out and get this top coated. So I'm just going to go in and put a nice thin line to balance it out on this side and make that design pop. And I'm just going to go down right in front of this white, really thin, drawing that brush out really quickly to make a nice clean line. Then I will go back over it with a thin amount of black gel polish on my brush, just enough to straighten up and thicken up and darken up the line so it really shows on the nail. Now when I put these nails in the lamp, I am curing for 60 seconds every single time. And I did not say that at any point before when I said I was putting it in the lamp. So this is a 60-second cure on each layer. So make sure you're getting a good full cure. So now I've got that one done. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my index finger and start coming in with this white and adding these little bitty leaves on my branches. I'm kind of just placing them randomly on here. Just making sure that I'm putting them in places where the other ones that I want to put on there won't overlap them. And so I'm just going in with this white polish and this detail brush and doing a nice thick leaf. And I'm going to come back in, and when I get done with the nail, and add some accents to it, but I do skip through that in the video. So I actually will end up adding a few extra leaves before it's all said and done. But I did want to show you the application, and I did, I sped it up just a little bit so it wouldn't be, a lengthy video. I wanted to keep the video at 30 minutes today to do the unboxing review and doing this set of press-ons, so those little bitty, moments I did kind of just clip them out of there, but it wasn't a whole lot of time. You didn't really miss anything, but it was just little tidbits. So I'm going to go in and keep applying these leaves until I am satisfied with the amount that I put on the nail, and that way I can go ahead and get it in the lamp and get it cured. But like I said, I do end up coming back and adding just a couple accents, and I think even a couple leaves before I actually completely finish out the nail, because I was like, oh, I could use one here, could use one there, kind of moments. But I really enjoy doing these simple, very pretty, beginner-friendly nail designs, because these kind of leaves are really simple to make. You just take your time and pay attention to what you're doing, and not have excessive amounts of polish all over your detail brushes. You want to keep that polish to the end of your bristles of your brush, and just kind of fill in that space, and take your time. So I'm going to get some, applied to the nail, kind of jump through a little bit, and you can see that I've added, a few here and there. But like I said, I will go back and probably add some more, and then add some details, with the leaves. Just add a little pop of color. Draw some lines in there to connect them to my little branch. But in the lamp, that goes for now. So I'm moving on to the middle finger, and I wanted to tie in this middle finger with the thumb and do something, a little more geometric with this one. So I'm going to go in with the black and start doing some line work and kind of making little frames on the nails, kind of that stained glass window kind of effect. So I'm just going to start off of the line I've already made, and take this liner brush and press and draw it down nice and flat and pull that along the nail. if it does have a break or gap, I'll just go in with a little extra polish and just kind of pick up where I left off and finish out that line, making sure they all go all the way to the end. Then I'm going to come in and do one line down the center and then draw that excess polish off into different directions. Then come off of that line, put in another line, and making sure I get all the way to the end. Then starting off with that line and drawing that down close to the corner of the bottom of the nail, making sure that line is nice and even. So I'm going to finish out all these lines, and then I'm actually going to go back over each one of them just to darken them up, thicken them up, and make sure they're all nice and even with each other. So for this next line, I'm actually going to start in that corner, and I'm going to paint that line straight down to connect with the end of the other line to tie those two together. I'm also going to add a line right here coming from this corner down to fill in this spot, and then I am going to go up here and add a line and just tie this corner together as well. So when I'm starting a line, I'm actually making sure that I make connection with the line that's already there. And I am not curing these yet. These have not been cured at all. I'm making sure that I finish all my line work before I cure it. That way, if I need to make contact with that line of gel polish, that it's still wet and I can work in it. Because if I go ahead and cure it, all I can do is go over it again, and if there are any little puddles in there where the lines break or they connect to each other, then I won't be able to fix that. So I'm going to make sure I go over everything, get everything nice and crisp and everything nice and straight, and then make sure every line is nice and opaque. And then when I get that done, I will go in and fully cure this in the lamp for 60 seconds. So now that I've got that cured, I'm going to come in and I'm going to start doing some color in some of these blocks on the nail. I'm not going to color the whole nail in. I still want the white there, but I do want to add in some of these nudes to help tie this set together. So that way it's, it's not matchy-matchy, but it's still somewhat cohesive, I like geometric lines and shapes because they kind of add a hardness to the nail, so to speak. And then you got the feminine colors in there to kind of soften that up. But then you balance that out with like a feminine nail that's got maybe leaves and branches and flowers and things like that. It just kind of, I think it's really pretty together in a set to have some different things going on, some different nail design ideas. You could do a full set geometric, you can do a full set of like flowers and plants and stuff like that, but you can also blend them together and create a unique set that works for you. All your nails can have something in them that represents an aspect of your personality, of your individual taste, So I like to make sets like this because I like to make them to inspire, to do some mixed nails, or, say, hey, I like that one design on that nail. I'd like to do a full set, based off that design. So I like to do that with nails, and they're inspiring to me, so I'm sure they're inspiring to somebody else out there, But also, I think with this color palette, it kind of breaks it up a little bit. I could have done a solid manicure, color, or, I could have done that. But I really wanted to utilize as many colors as I possibly could out of this palette. So being able to utilize 5 of the 6 colors to do just this set of nails really worked out well. I think it worked out beautifully. Now the other white I didn't use because it's just a milky white, and I was already using the more pigmented white, so I just kind of left it over to the side. Now I did swatch all these out, and I will show you all of these colors swatched out again at the end of the video. But yeah, I only just used these 5 for this actual set, and I just like the way it turned out. Now with this nail, I am actually going to use 4 different colors of the 5. And so I did these first 2 blocks with this color, and then I'm going to come in and do 2 other blocks with a different one of the nudes from this palette. And then I'm going to go in and do a couple blocks with the black from this palette and leave the rest of it white. I do skip through a little bit of that application, but I didn't want it to be, really long and boring with painting in little squares. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what I ended up doing on the nail, and you'll get to see. I'll come back and show you the finished result after this nail is completely done and cured in the lamp. Now I only had to do one coat of coverage. When I did color in the blocks on the nails, I didn't need two coats because the colors that I used were very pigmented, so it wasn't necessary. I did not come in with that sheer nude at all and use it anywhere on the nail. I thought about it, but I didn't want to end up putting maybe two coats to even three coats on there, just depending on how it was going to contrast over that white base color. And if I had done that, then I would have had that thick spot on the nail. So we wanted to keep these layers as thin as possible so the nail's nice and smooth. And so I've got that part done. It went in the lamp. I came back in and did the black, and this is how it turned out. I really think it's super cute. So I'm gonna move on and get started. I did kind of jump to the pinky because I knew right off the bat that I wanted to keep the pinky nice and simple, like I did the thumbnail. I like to balance it out like that. So the thumbnail was nice and simple, so I want to do the pinky nice and simple. So I made this line that, angles across the nail and kind of curves up and around the top portion of the nail, and then just kind of comes down and kind of curves over a little bit on the bottom part of the nail. I'm also going to come in with just some white and do some really light accents around this, but it really turned out very cute. I really like the way that this turned out on this nail, real quick and simple and easy. And I just did this with a regular liner brush, no micro detailers or anything. I wanted a nice thick line. I didn't want to fill in the nail a whole lot, but then I did come in with a thinner detail brush, a striper brush, so I can get a nice thin white accent line on there, so I can make that black line really pop out, but also to tie it together, with the thumbnail, because the thumbnail was the nude base with the black and white, tip on it. So, but I didn't want to do a tip on this nail. I felt that would have been, two identical nails. I never, hardly ever do that when I do a set of nails, unless I'm doing all 5 nails the same. But I rarely ever do that. Now, if somebody wanted me to create all 5 nails the same for them, that would not be that's not a problem for me. But for me, when I do nails for myself, I like to keep them, as kind of quirky and interesting as I possibly can. So anyway, I'm going in there with that mini striper brush, and I'm just doing a nice fine, accent line around, the top portion, trying to getting it right in that little curl that I made, just a little bit in there, and then bringing it down. I actually do take it all the way down the bottom side of the nail, and kind of, frame in that whole line right there, and decided to kind of do that. Then I decided to kind of curl it out just a little bit. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to go to the ring finger, and I'm just going to use this black by itself, and I wanted to do just some little more leaves, but these leaves right here were a little more detailed than the first set. Were kind of more of a whimsical leaf, and these were more geometric on the nail. But I'm going to go in and put 2 nice thick black lines of gel polish on there, making sure I get coverage all the way to the edge of the nail, and making sure I have a nice, clean line. So now I'm going to go in with my detailer brush, and this is a very, very fine, really thin brush. This is a perfect brush for fine details. And I've got a nice little dollop right at the end of my brush, and I'm going to put that down and just kind of shape that and mold that and draw that out to a point. Then I'm going to flip it over to the other side and do the exact same thing. That way I make sure that they're lining up well with each other. They don't have to be exactly, side by side with each other, but I want it to look right because one's kind of tilted up and the other one's kind of going outward. So I'm just going to flip it over back and forth and put my leaves in there. Now I can just go straight down one side and straight down another, but on the first branch, I did want to make sure that they were, symmetrical with each other, from one side to the other. And then when I move on to the other branch, I will just pretty much do one and one and then flip it over and then just do one whole side, then come over and do the other whole side. Now I do skip through that, but I did want to show the application with putting these leaves in here, and I am not curing these as I go. I'm making sure that I have them all on the nail first. That way if I need to get them up closer to my face and get some more detail, if I need to fix any of the leaves, get more of a point to them, I can do that. It's a little harder to do when it's further away from you and it's other the camera. The way I've got my camera positioned, it's not right up in my face. So when I do line work like that or do any of those details, I always bring it up closer to my face and just double check it before I put it in the lamp to make sure that I'm satisfied, with what I've done. Because once it goes in the lamp, it's in the lamp. Now you can always come back over it with another coat and fix lines and details and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just easier to get it done, the way you want it the first time, than to have to come back and fix it. So you can always get a magnifier too as well if you're doing anything small. If you struggle with any small details, which everybody does, nobody's perfect with small details. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of work. I still like to, practice and learn as I go, but you can always get you a little magnifier if you can't see things, really up close and fine. So I've already top coated and cured the other nails. I'm going to finish these last two out with some top coat, and then I am going to show you all these nails and these polishes together before I get ready to put these nails on. I'm also going to show you these polishes all swatched out so you can see them, individually swatched out. And this is all the nails and the polishes from this set. This is the one I did not use on these 5 nails. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm going to finish this out with these nails on my hands. And here they are, guys. I think they're super cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will have these products linked down below. Also, you can go to Roslyn Beauty. I have a link for that you can go and check out all their other products. They have beautiful products, and I absolutely love using them. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.